Welcome to Wager Talk TV. I am Kelly Stewart. If you're not already following at Wager Talk, make sure you do so. And don't forget to follow these two guys to the right and left of me, Steve Merrill at Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L, and Tony Mejia at Mejia Dinero. These guys give out a ton of great information from their Twitter accounts as well. Let's talk New Orleans Saints, 3.5-point favorite at the Carolina Panthers. Total has come down from 46 to 44.5. And that was where I started looking here. Tony, I did bet the Panthers plus 3.5 early in the week. Why? Because my boy Jameis looked so good. I totally thought that this was going to be a square sort of sharp side of the week. So I wanted to get ahead, get that 3 with the hook. Then to come to find out, it looks like some of the sharp guys disagree with me. They're all over the Saints minus 3.5. I need to get your input on this one because this is a total mind beep.
Well, I mean, Jameis 14 for 20 and 5 touchdowns. He only threw for 148 yards because that's all he needed to do. But I think that 38-3 was the most puzzling result of week 1. And it's an indictment of what the Packers brought to the table. David Bakhtiari, is that important to the offensive line where you can't protect Aaron Rodgers? And Rodgers had a terrible game himself. He should have went with early reads as opposed to waiting for Devontae Adams to spring open. And to the Saints' credit, Marshawn Lattimore blanketed him and had one of the top performances in week 1. I think Pro Football Focus rated him as the top corner. But the issue with Lattimore is he had thumb surgery this week and is considered week to week, probably won't play this week. They're also out Ken Crawley. On the defensive line, David Onyemata is still suspended. Sheldon Rankins is now with the Jets. Malcolm Brown is now with the Jaguars. You know who started last week on the offensive line for the Saints, which a Saints team that dominated up front? Malcolm Roach and Christian Ringo, who had as many starts combined as me, you, and Steve entering the season opener. So it was a puzzling situation. They've got Marcus Davenport out with an elbow injury. Teno Passigno, who came over from the Chiefs, dealing with a calf issue. Quan Alexander dealing with an elbow issue. So if the Panthers get any push up front, they can get Christian McCaffrey going in the run game and really make life easier on Sam Darnold. So I'm with the Panthers here, especially getting points at home. I also don't like situations where you don't have your normal starting center on the road. I think that affects you most. And Eric McCoy is out for a substantial period of time. Cesar Ruiz of Michigan slid over, did a nice job, but he's a natural guard. This will be his first start on the road at that position. And again, there's not really a lot of continuity with him and Jameis. So the fact the receivers, a bunch of no names, Jawan Johnson, Deontay Harris, Marquez Callaway, Traquan Smith is still out. So, from personnel standpoint, I think the Panthers are the better team and getting points. I'm going to go ahead and take them at home.
I'm with you, Steve. Do you agree with Tony and I? Can we make it a team ticket here?
Yes, Panthers is the way I'd play this one as well. And there's so many reasons it lines up nicely. This is a textbook example of a vast overreaction to week 1. And the Saints look good. I'm not going to dispute that. But, we always look back later in the season and say how random week 1 usually is and which games don't correlate. I do agree that the 38-3 beatdown to the Packers are going to be one that probably doesn't correlate. I think Green Bay will get their act together. But let's keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers, the off-field turmoil this summer, no experience in the preseason, the short preseason on top of that. I don't think it was a fluke they came out poorly. We'll see how the Packers look the next few weeks. And yes, the Saints did what they had to do. But like Tony said, Jameis Winston was fantastic, but he didn't have to exactly carry the team. It was an easy 38-3 win. And here's what's crazy. If you told me going in last Sunday that one of these teams would have 381 yards, 6.1 yards per play, you wouldn't have thought it was the Panthers who only scored 19 points. The Saints averaged just 5.4 yards per play and put up 38 points. So Carolina played a really good game against the Jets, a lot better than the 19-14 score indicated. Outgained them by 1.5 yards per play, outgained them by almost 150 total yards, 130 total yards to be exact. This is a live dog to say the least. And what's funny, Kelly, is last week, the third most public play in the NFL was the Packers. That was one of my top 3 on my weekend video, Fade the Public, right here on Wager Talk TV. Obviously, the public cashed in big with New Orleans. Now it looks like they're starting to back the Saints suddenly. And we have seen this line go from 1.5, as you mentioned, up to 3, even 3.5 in a lot of spots. NFL favorites at the 3 to 3.5 point range win by exactly a field goal nearly 11% of the time. So the difference between 3 and 3.5 is tremendous. If you like the Saints, I'd grab the 3 now, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd grab the Panthers, especially if you can get plus 3.5 or more.
All right, great stuff from Steve and Tony. Good luck this week, guys.